Hi, folks. I'm John Berry, and I'm with McMahon on keys.
John Berry, thank you for making time for us here.
Good to be with y'all.
You may or may not remember this. I was taking pictures of you at your recent performance at Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
That was a fun day.
Yep. I was hiding in the background taking pictures of you.
The ultimate photographer.
I just
where
try
you
to
don't
keep
know they're
doing
there.
things.
They're taking pictures that you probably wish they weren't.
That's true. That's true. How you doing with CRS? Is it
Good? Yeah.
Yeah?
It's my one day.
Yeah.
In and out. So.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to say it was so fun as I prepared for this interview because I did not realize this. I actually came to Nashville in '91.
Okay.
And at the time, I was working with Butch Baker,
Come
who
on.
you may know,
Yeah.
and his bass player was Rick Taylor,
Yeah.
who was with Amanda Hunt Taylor.
Yeah.
And as I recall, she was pretty excited about a song of hers getting recorded by somebody pretty special.
Yeah.
What song was that?
Your Love Amazes Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wrote that with Chuck Jones.
Yep.
And the first time I heard the song, I was driving home to Athens, Georgia with a packet of demo reels from different songwriters. And Chuck had given me a reel of his, and Your Love Amazes Me was on there. So driving down between here and Athens, Georgia, and heard that song and said, well, yeah, I'll take that one. Thank you very much. And I called Herky Williams, who was my contact at Capitol. And I said, this particular song Chuck and Amanda wrote together, I'd like to put that one on hold. And he called me back the next day and said, well, Tanya Tucker's putting on her next album. I said, shut up. I said, well, if something happens and she doesn't use it, I want to be second in line to get it.
Yeah.
And Tanya was on Capitol as well, so we had pretty close in there. And so she turned her album in a couple of weeks later, completed, and Your Love Amazes Me was not on it.
Oh, really?
So I feel fortunate that I drew the card to get to record that song.
Yeah.
But bless her heart, she reminds me every time I see her that I owe her.
Oh, sure she does.
Yeah. And she scares me. She's wiry.
Yeah.
She's tough. And but I actually sang at an event, and she was there, and she came up and sang with me. So that was awesome.
Oh, good.
But she included her version a couple years later on her greatest hits record and did a great version of it. Great. And to me, the song is not about the singer.
Yeah.
A lot of people could have sung that song. I was just a lucky guy who got to it and put it out there. It's a special piece of music, and it's been. I've had so many people tell me that they've used it in their weddings and different things, and that's pretty cool to have a song that's used in such an intimate moment in people's lives. So it's pretty cool.
Sure. Well, and certainly one of a number of your songs that kind of got you kick-started, even though you're still out there making new stuff, which is
Still
awesome.
That's
Awesome.
that sounds like a name for a record. Still kicking.
Yeah, no, it's great, and we got to see you, like I said, perform on the TV show recently. So it's good to know that Are you a part of this '90s resurgence that's happening? Are you getting pulled into some of the festivals and the performance? What's going on with all that for you?
I know that there's a lot of that going on. I've got a couple of things that I've been involved in, or will be involved in as we go, as these things move forward. And so I'll do as many as they want. So
yeah. Well, I know that one of the things that Maddie and I were talking about was she is on your path as opposed to mine as a sideman. Working on her own artistry. And one of the things we've talked about is how important that one person can be to change your course.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because we were looking you up and doing our homework, and I saw where you had made 250 or something like that invitations and sent them out to all record labels, and something happened with that.
Yeah, no one came.
No one came?
Except Herky Williams.
Except for Herky Williams. And that's what...
One guy. And Herky had heard about me from his sister, who went to the University of Georgia.
Right.
And he was in Athens several months before the showcase I did in Nashville. and he had come to see a band called the Normal Town Flyers. Great band. They played at Athens for years and years and years. Finally, they did get a record deal and had a few hits and things. But he had come to Athens to see the Normal Town Flyers. Well, he, of course, had heard about me from his sister, so he came by to the club I was playing at that night. It was called Lowry's, and he came by there a couple times that night to see me, but the line was down the street, and he never got in. So when he got the invitation to come to Douglas Corner, he was pretty stoked he could have a chance to see me. So he came to Douglas Corner, and we did our little showcase, and after that, we went out to Waffle House, had a bite to eat with the band, and stood around and chat for a while. And he said, I'll be in touch. And so he calls me the next day and said, hey, Jimmy Bowen wants you to come over for brunch, president of Capitol Records. And I'm like, we're back in Athens. And so they set up a private showcase for me to come back to SIR a few weeks later and do a showcase there for Bowen. And they invited John Huey from CAA and David Corlew from Charlie Daniels' outfit. And so we got up on stage, me and the band, and my wife Robin, who sings with me, and we did our 6 or 7 songs and got wrapped up. And Bowen comes up stage, shakes my hand, and he said, he says, not wasting your time. I guess you're coming here looking for a record deal. I said, yes, sir, I did.
Right.
He said, Corlew, you going to represent him? And he looks at me, I look at him, he goes, sure. And
awesome.
so Bowen, he turned to Bowen and said, yes, sir, yes, I am. He goes, call me sweet, let's put it together. And then clapped his hands with that. He's out the door. And
Wow.
so,
That's simple.
it's funny, we were at dinner that we went, all of us, Tom O'Grady was, rest his soul, he was David Corley's partner with Corley O'Grady Management.
Right.
And Tom O'Grady was a true Irishman. And he started off as a country store to country store snuff salesman.
Okay.
And he retired as the vice president of U.S. Tobacco.
Okay.
And he helped finance the Corley O'Grady management team. And we're all at dinner that night and discussing the events of the day at this restaurant we were at and Ted's Montana Grill. And Mr. Grady comes over, sits next to me, we're chatting. He says, I get you wondering why you didn't come to Nashville a little sooner. He said, this all seemed pretty easy. I said, yeah, it kind of crossed my mind.
Yeah.
He said, it wouldn't have worked. Today was your day. Today was your day.
Yeah.
So, and with his Irish twinkle in his eye.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Today was your day. So,
Well, and I know you have commented in at different times about the importance of fairy dust
oh yeah.
with some of your accomplishments. So is that what part of that was, you think?
Oh sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And the fairy dust story came when sort of, I won't say the end of my career, but it was a time when I wasn't working a lot.
Yeah.
And we were the mortgage crisis of 2008 had hit.
Yeah.
The last people that were getting hired were singers,
Right.
and we were struggling a bit, and we're down in our barn getting some stuff done. And my son Sean was down there. He was in middle school, I think, and where I could tell he had a lot. He's a real heavy thinker. You know, he's a real thoughtful kid. And I said, Sean, what's bothering you, son? He said, Dad, how come you decided not to be famous anymore? And that's when I decided he'd been watching too much Disney.
Right.
You know, and I decided now, I said, son, listen to me. I want you to really think this through now. I want you to absorb this. Fame's not a decision. Fame's a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work. That's a lot of time, typically. It's a lot of talent. And it's a truckload of fairy dust.
Right.
I said, I don't know. I said, I feel like I can sing as well as anybody out there. I can put on a show as well as anybody out there. There are maybe those that work harder than I do. I don't know. Maybe James Brown did. I don't know. But there are those where the truckload of fairy dust is on the second level and just dumps and spreads all over them.
Right.
And then there are others that get sprinkled on.
Right.
And it's not something tangible. You can't say this is why this person skyrocketed, and this is why this person nobody's ever heard of. And there's no there's no rhyme or reason. There's no other. It's just the way it is. So.
True, but I think a lot of people see things now, and they see people that are okay with being famous for doing things they really shouldn't want everybody to know.
Yeah.
And somebody to your son's comment about being famous, you've developed this art and this craft and these songs that mean a lot of things to people. You want to be famous for the right things.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah, you could be famous for being the stupidest guy on the planet.
And there are people.
Welcome to YouTube.
Right. Well, so talk about what that means in the context of your latest project, your Find Your Joy project, because it's not called stumble around, and maybe you'll accidentally acquire joy. It's find your joy. You're taking intentional steps, doing things to get you where you want to be.
Yeah.
So what was your joy in this project?
Well, this album is a record I've wanted to do for many years.
Yeah.
I actually started it 2 times, and it just didn't come together. This is a collection of 6 classic gospel hymns. Anybody grew up going to church, and maybe a lot of people didn't go to church at all, those 6 songs, more than likely,
Right.
that is part of our culture. The other 4 are new songs of faith, including the title track, Find My Joy. And like I said, it started years before it didn't come together. 5 years ago, January 4th, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
I had throat cancer.
Right.
I had tumors, I had a tickle in my throat. Ends up it was a tumor growing out of my tonsil, tickling the back of my throat.
Wow.
And my other tonsil had a tumor in it as well. They discovered. I had both of them removed, and that's when they found the other one. I had 8 rounds of chemotherapy, which was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And don't wish it on my worst enemy. Worst thing ever. I don't even tell you about it. And then if I had any energy left from the chemotherapy, I had 35 radiation treatments, which sucked the rest of it out of me.
Yeah.
I had a feeding tube for 9 months. Lost 85 pounds. It was a tough road.
Yeah.
The song Find My Joy was written by Steve Dorff, and you probably don't recognize Steve's name, but he's written songs that are part of the soundtrack to your life, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable songwriter. My manager represents him as well. And Steve wrote Find My Joy, and my manager sent it to me with a note that said, you got to listen to this song. I opened up my email, and he'd text me, said, check your email. I opened up my email, and there's this song, Find My Joy. And I said, what joy? Delete. Never listened to it. He kept badgering. And finally, I got tired of him badgering, dug it out of the trash, and listened to it, and it just moved my heart. And my problem is I have a strong faith in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I was basing my happiness on my circumstances. You're going to lose.
Right.
If you base your happiness on someone, this guy you want to marry, this girl you want to marry, or this, you're going to be disappointed. It's going to fall apart. You're going to base it on your job. You're going to get fired. Yeah, I'm so happy with my new car. Somebody hits it. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
You can't base your happiness in your life on your circumstances and what's going on. But there is one thing you can, and that's our Savior Jesus Christ, and He is forever faithful. But I'm not going to go into all that right now because that's not why we're here. But I'm going to tell you, it changed my whole perspective, and that song really spoke to me. It ended up being the title track for the record. And I called Steve. I said, "What else you got? Would you like to produce an album?"
Right.
And he did have a couple more songs that we used. One of them called "Something Bigger Than Me," which is a song that he had recorded the track with the Utah Symphony Orchestra, and we got to use that track.
Wow.
It's like
That's
it's like
awesome.
stupid awesome.
Yeah.
And we just had we recorded the album with a small 4 or 5 piece band and a 45 piece string orchestra, and then the one song with the Utah Symphony, and it just came out just beautiful. I'm so proud of the job Steve did, and it's been a real thrill to go out and play this music. The title, the album cover, the CD
Yes, sir.
cover, is my wife loved that picture. She said the reason for that is the reason it's such a great picture, and it exudes the feeling you have because you're walking on stage to sing, which is your favorite thing to do,
Right.
and you're at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, your favorite place, the beach.
Yeah.
And so she said it's just I was actually my guitar strapped on, I'm actually walking on stage and somebody snapped that picture. So,
Wow.
And so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing this with us.
You bet.
And I love that you're back on the road, back singing, back doing all the things.
Yeah, my voice is fine. The only thing I can tell is that if I don't sing enough,
Yeah.
and like I haven't sang much, and I've got a show Saturday night. I better get to it. I'll lose my voice quickly.
Yeah.
And but I don't think it has anything to do with
Sure.
the cancer treatments or anything. I think that's just if you don't use the muscles,
Yeah.
working out's going to be hard the next time you get back in the gym a month from now.
Yeah.
So same kind of thing, I think. So,
Well, I'm glad you're using it, and thank you for sharing it with us.
thank you. I appreciate you guys.
you,
Let me
sir.
come hang out here with you for a little while.
John Barry, check out Find My Joy. Thanks for finding some
Yeah.
time for us, sir.
Yeah, but thank you.
I appreciate it. Enjoy
Nice
the
to
rest
see
of
you.
your CRS.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from Memphis.
In Memphis. That's where Chuck Jones is from.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's right.
Hey y'all, I'm Maddye Trew. For more clips from CRS, click the top button. And for more episodes, including live performances from the podcast, click the bottom button. I'm with McMahon on keys.